The screen fades into darkness, only the sound of echoing chains and a heavy heartbeat, freedom or death. The words cut through the silence like a blade. In a world where criminals are left to rot, one chance emerges, a chance soaked in blood and fire. Before we dive into this explosive story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because what you're about to witness is not just another action tale. It's a brutal fight for survival, vengeance, and redemption. Inside the prison walls, the air is thick with rage and hopelessness. Murderers, gang leaders, outlaws, men and women who have nothing left to lose. And then, the doors open. Soldiers march in. A general steps forward. His voice is sharp, merciless. You want freedom? Earn it. You will be thrown into the hell of war. Survive the mission, and maybe you walk free. The condemned look at each other, disbelief mixed with a glimmer of hope. This isn't salvation. It's a gamble. A suicide pact dressed as an opportunity. But for those chained by iron bars, even hell itself looks like freedom. The iron doors slam open, and the condemned march out, shackles clinking under the burning sun. For years, these men and women knew only darkness, but now they step into a new kind of cage, the battlefield. Their eyes adjust to the light, but what awaits them is not freedom. Rows of soldiers, armed and disciplined, watch them with disgust. To the world, they are not heroes. They are weapons, disposable tools of war. Loaded onto military trucks, the criminals exchange nervous glances. Some smirk, pretending they fear nothing. Others stay silent, haunted by crimes they can't erase. As the engines roar, one thought unites them: better to die fighting than rot behind bars. The ride is long, dust rising as the convoy moves toward a secret base. The jungle looms in the distance, thick and merciless. The condemned are no longer prisoners of the state. They are now soldiers bound by blood, fear, and desperation, and the war has just begun. The atmosphere at the base is heavy. Guards keep their rifles aimed as the prisoners are lined up like cattle. Then the ground trembles with authority. A five-star general steps forward, medals glinting under the harsh sun. His eyes are cold, his tone merciless. You are killers, thieves, and traitors. Society doesn't want you, but I do. His words pierce the silence. He lays out the deal with no sugarcoating. A high-risk mission deep in enemy territory. A kidnapped American heiress must be rescued. If they succeed, the survivors will walk free, pardoned for their sins. The crowd erupts in whispers. Some laugh bitterly, others stare in shock. The general raises his voice. This is not a choice. This is survival. Either fight and earn your freedom, or rot in prison until you die. One by one, eyes begin to burn with a strange mix of fear and hope. They know this is madness. They know most won't come back. But for the condemned, even the shadow of freedom is worth stepping into hell. The general's words hang in the air like a death sentence. But for these criminals, death has always been close. One by one, they step forward, sealing the deal not with honor, but with desperation. A scarred gang leader spits on the ground. Better to die out there than rot in here. A ruthless killer with fire in his eyes snarls, I'll take my chances. Even the silent ones, chained by guilt and broken pasts, nod their heads. The promise of freedom, even if drenched in blood, is stronger than fear. But the general is not done. His voice cuts deeper. Survive, and you'll walk free. Fail, and you'll be forgotten. The criminals understand. This is no mercy. It's a gamble where the house always wins. But the bargain is struck. Lives soaked in sin, traded for a chance to fight in the inferno of war. And as the sun sinks behind the barbed wire, the condemned realize their freedom will be paid in blood. The spotlight shifts. One by one, the faces of the damned emerge from the shadows. Each carries scars, some carved into flesh, others hidden deep within their souls. There's Vasquez, the street warlord, feared by gangs across the city, his eyes burning with rage and vengeance. Monster Greer, a giant with brute strength known for killing with his bare hands. A beast trapped in human form. Riley, sharp and reckless. Once a thief of fortunes, now a man with nothing left but a crooked smile. Carmen, the lone woman in the squad, hardened by abuse and violence, who learned to fight back with blades and fire in her heart. And BR, the youngest, broken by the system, desperate for a second chance to prove he's more than the sins he carries. They are not soldiers. They are not heroes. They are criminals bound by blood, violence, and survival. And now fate will chain them together, not as enemies, but as a squad marching into the jaws of death. The mission is revealed in full. A plane was shot down, deep inside enemy territory. Among the survivors was Gabrielle Prescott, the daughter of a powerful American billionaire whose empire fuels both politics and war. Her capture is no ordinary kidnapping. It is a declaration of war. Guerrillas demand weapons, power, and chaos in exchange for her life. The US cannot negotiate, not openly. That's where the condemned come in, disposable, invisible, perfect pawns. The general makes it clear: rescue the girl and you earn your freedom. Fail and no one will even know you existed. To the criminal, she's just a stranger, a spoiled heiress caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. But to the general, to the billionaire father, and to the entire world, Gabrielle is the key. Saving her means glory. Losing her means war. And for this squad of outlaws, the path to freedom now depends on bringing her back alive. The next dawn breaks with the roar of whistles and boots stomping. The criminals are dragged into the yard. No more chains, but no freedom either. Now begins their transformation from outlaws to weapons of war. The general's voice cuts through the morning air. From now on, you eat like soldiers, fight like soldiers, and die like soldiers. Push-ups in the mud, obstacle courses under barbed wire, live rounds tearing the air above their heads. Some collapse, cursing. Others fight back, fists raised against the sergeants. But the punishment is swift, brutal. Every rebellion crushed until even the toughest bow to the discipline of war. Carmen trains with knives, her strikes sharp and relentless. Monster wrestles sandbags as if they were men. Vasquez smirks, but even he bleeds under the weight of exhaustion. BR stumbles, but rises again and again, fueled not by strength, but by the desperate hope of redemption. By nightfall, they are no longer prisoners in rags. They stand in uniforms, battered, bruised, but molded into something new. Not heroes, not yet, but a squad forged by fire. The barracks are filled with tension thicker than smoke. These aren't brothers in arms, they're killers forced into the same cage. Vasquez mocks BR's weakness, shoving him into the dirt. Monster growls, ready to crush anyone who challenges his pride. Carmen sits apart, sharpening her blade, eyes cold, daring anyone to test her. Fights erupt nightly, fists against fists, blood against blood. But beneath the violence lies something deeper: distrust. They know one mistake, one betrayal, could doom them all. Some whisper plans of escape. Others plot who they'll sacrifice first when things go wrong. The general watches from afar, a predator observing prey. He knows that fear and hatred are the strongest chains. Yet even he wonders, will these animals tear each other apart before they ever face the real enemy? One truth becomes clear: this squad doesn't need bullets to self-destruct. The war inside their hearts might be deadlier than the war awaiting them outside. Engines roar as the squad is herded into a helicopter, chains replaced by rifles. The blades cut through the sky, carrying them far from the prison walls and into a different kind of hell. Below, the jungle stretches endlessly, thick, dark, and alive with unseen dangers. As the chopper hovers low, the general's voice crackles through the radio. 3 days. Find the girl. Survive. If you can. The squad leaps into the mud, the helicopter vanishing into the clouds. Silence presses down, broken only by the distant cries of wild animals and the hum of insects. Every step forward feels like walking into a grave. The jungle swallows them whole. Visibility vanishes. The air is heavy, suffocating. Sweat runs down their backs, but it isn't the heat. It's the feeling of unseen eyes watching from the shadows. For the first time, the criminals realize prison was safe compared to this. Here, every leaf hides an enemy. Every shadow whispers death. And the jungle has just begun its hunt. The squad pushes deeper into the jungle, every branch snapping under their boots, echoing like a gunshot. Suddenly, silence. Even the insects stop singing. Then it happens. Gunfire erupts from the treetops. Bullets rain down like thunder. Explosions tear through the foliage. The criminals dive for cover, cursing, screaming, firing back blindly into the shadows. Monster grabs a gorilla by the throat, crushing him into the mud. Carmen slashes through the chaos with her blade, her face splattered in blood. Vasquez shouts orders like a warlord, while BR freezes, paralyzed by the shock of war. The jungle itself seems to explode. Branches shatter, smoke rises, and screams echo. One of the squad is dragged into the trees, never to be seen again. Panic spreads like wildfire. When the dust settles, bodies lie scattered. The squad has lost more than just numbers. They've lost the illusion of control. This is no training ground, this is war, and war has no mercy. The smoke from the ambush still hangs in the air, thick and choking. The squad staggers through the wreckage, breathing heavy, hearts pounding, and then the blame begins. Vasquez snarls, pointing his rifle at BR. "You froze, you almost got us all killed." Monster slams his fist into a tree, roaring in rage. Carmen steps between them, blade in hand. "Keep pointing guns at each other, and the jungle won't need to finish us off. We'll do it ourselves." But the hatred doesn't stop. Old grudges boil over, gang colors and street wars carried into the battlefield. Accusations fly, hands tighten on triggers. For a heartbeat, the squad is on the edge of killing each other instead of the enemy. Then, the general's voice echoes in BR's head. "Survive, if you can." And he realizes survival isn't just about dodging bullets, it's about surviving the people fighting beside him. Because in this squad, the enemy isn't only in the jungle. The enemy might be standing right next to you. The squad trudges through the mud, bloodied and shaken. For a moment, the silence returns, but in their minds, the echoes of gunfire never stop. Riley spits on the ground, laughing bitterly. Prison was paradise compared to this. Monster growls back, "At least in prison, you knew who wanted you dead." Carmen's eyes flash. "You're wrong. Prison kills you slowly. This jungle kills you fast. Take your pick." The criminals realize a cruel truth. The bars they hated kept them alive. Behind those walls, brutality was survival, yes, but it was a brutality they understood. Out here, war has no rules, no codes, no honor. Every rustle in the bushes could be death. Every shadow hides a blade. And worse, their squad is thinning. Each loss gnaws at them, stripping away the swagger, the bravado. For the first time, they admit it. This mission isn't about glory. It's about enduring something even darker than prison, the merciless brutality of war. Night falls, and the squad gathers around a dim fire, their faces lit by the flickering glow. For the first time, the noise of war fades, replaced by uneasy silence. Monster, the giant feared for killing with his bare hands, sits apart. His breathing is heavy, his fists clenched, but his eyes reveal something different, a quiet pain. BR, trembling, finally dares to ask, "Why do they call you Monster?" The camp falls silent. Monster's voice rumbles, not with anger, but with sorrow. "Because I became what they wanted me to be, a weapon, a beast. I killed because that's all I knew, but no one ever asked why. No one ever cared who I was before the blood." For a moment, the squad sees him differently, not just a brute, but a man broken by a system that never gave him a chance. Carmen whispers, "We're all monsters here. Some of us just hide it better." And in that fragile silence, a truth is born. Even in monsters, fragments of humanity still remain. The calm of the night doesn't last. At dawn, gunfire rips through the jungle again. The squad dives for cover, bullets tearing through trees, explosions shaking the ground. In the chaos, secrets slip out like blood from open wounds. Riley shouts while reloading, "I didn't kill my parents! They framed me!" Vasquez snarls back, firing blindly. "Liar! You slit their throats while they slept. I read the file!" Carmen screams, charging forward with her blade. "You think you know pain? Try growing up with monsters in your own house." As grenades detonate and enemies fall, the squad fights not only the guerrillas, but their own ghosts. Each confession, each scream of truth or denial is drowned in gunfire. But the pain behind the words cuts deeper than any bullet. By the time the smoke clears, bodies litter the ground. The squad breathes heavy, their secrets now laid bare in the open. And in their eyes burns a new fire, not just for survival, but for something they can't quite name. The squad moves cautiously through the jungle, their nerves frayed to the edge. Every step is heavier, every shadow a threat. Vasquez whispers coldly, "Rule number 1 out here, trust no one." His eyes scan the group, not the jungle. He's not just warning about the enemy, he's warning about them. Riley clutches his rifle tighter, remembering the betrayals that landed him in prison. Carmen sneers, blade in hand. "If I have to cut someone's throat to make it back alive, I will. Don't test me." Even BR, the youngest, feels the poison seeping in, the realization that survival might mean sacrificing the very people walking beside him. The general's voice echoes in their minds. "You are weapons, tools, nothing more." And for the first time, they believe it. In this war, alliances are fragile, trust is a luxury, because in the jungle of death, the only rule that matters is this: survive, no matter the cost. Deep within the enemy's territory, whispers spread like wildfire. The girl is alive. Gabrielle Prescott, the billionaire's daughter, is being held in a hidden jungle camp, guarded like a prize of war. Through a crackling radio intercept, the squad hears her trembling voice forced into a propaganda recording. "My name is Gabrielle Prescott. If demands are not met, I will die here." Her words ignite something unexpected in the criminals. For the first time, the mission feels real. She isn't just a pawn or a bargaining chip. She's flesh and blood, terrified and alone. Monster clenches his fists, his voice low. Nobody deserves to die in a cage. Carmen's eyes harden, memories of her own past flashing like lightning. Even Vasquez, the ruthless warlord, stays silent, his jaw tight. The squad understands now, this mission isn't just a gamble for freedom. It's a race against time to rescue a girl whose survival could change the course of the war. And for the first time, they start to wonder if redemption might be real. The jungle opens into a clearing, and there it is. The enemy camp, surrounded by guard towers, barbed wire, and the flicker of campfires under the night sky. Dozens of armed guerrillas patrol the perimeter, their weapons gleaming. The squad crouches low in the shadows, eyes locked on the fortress of wood and steel. Gabrielle is inside. They can almost hear her heartbeat calling from the cages. Vasquez smirks. "Hell of a party, let's crash it." Carmen grips her blade tighter. "One mistake and we're corpses." BR whispers nervously. "We're outnumbered 10 to 1. Monster cuts him off with a growl. "Then we kill 10 each." The plan is simple, brutal. Split, plant explosives on the towers, and strike fast. But nothing about this will be easy. As the night thickens, they paint their faces with mud and ash, becoming shadows themselves. The camp is a death trap. But for the condemned, it's their only path to freedom. And tonight the jungle will witness hell on earth. The signal is given, a single flare slicing through the night sky. Boom! The first tower erupts in flames, raining splinters and screams. Seconds later, another explosion shakes the ground. The jungle itself trembles as the condemned squad storms the camp like unleashed demons. Gunfire lights the darkness. Tracers cut the air. Guerrillas scramble, firing wildly, but the criminals fight with the fury of beasts who have nothing to lose. Carmen slashes throats in silence, moving like a shadow. Monster rips through barricades, using his brute force like a battering ram. Vasquez leads with ruthless precision, shouting orders as if born for war. BR, trembling, pulls the trigger for the first time, and the recoil shakes not just his rifle, but his soul. His shot finds its mark. For a heartbeat, he realizes he's crossed the line. He's no longer just a convict, he's a soldier of blood. The camp becomes chaos, fire spreading, men screaming, the night drenched in war. And somewhere in the madness, Gabrielle screams for help. The mission has begun its blood-soaked price. Smoke and fire swallow the camp as gunfire echoes like thunder. The criminals, scattered in the chaos, face the ultimate choice: fight as one, or save themselves. Riley shouts from cover, "Forget the girl, we're outnumbered, every man for himself." Vasquez whirls, rage flashing in his eyes. "Run if you want, coward, but freedom doesn't come to the weak." Monster hurls a burning crate aside, roaring, "If we don't stick together, we're already dead." Carmen cuts down 2 soldiers and snarls, "Decide now, are you wolves or prey?" Bullets rip past. Explosions shake the earth. In that crucible of fire, the squad finally feels it. The weight of brotherhood, fragile but real. For the first time, the criminals see each other not as rivals, but as their only chance at survival. The choice is no longer about freedom. It's about life or death. And for the first time, unity seems stronger than betrayal. The gunfire slows, replaced by the crackle of flames devouring the camp. The squad breathes hard, battered and bruised, staring at the destruction they left behind. In the smoke, BR kneels beside a fallen enemy soldier, barely more than a boy. His lifeless eyes stare back, a mirror of the life BR could have lived. He whispers, almost to himself, "How many lives buy my freedom?" Carmen wipes blood from her blade, her voice sharp. "Freedom isn't free, it's paid in flesh." Monster slams his fist into the dirt, trembling with rage and sorrow. "All my life, they called me a monster. But maybe the real monsters are the ones who sent us here." For a fleeting moment, redemption feels close, but it's poisoned by the weight of their sins. Every step toward Gabrielle, every enemy they kill, is one more life chained to their souls. The squad understands now. Freedom may come, but it will be drowned in blood. The squad breaches deeper into the camp, cutting through what's left of enemy resistance. For a moment, victory feels close, too close. That's when the shot rings out. BR spins, clutching his shoulder. It wasn't the enemy. It was Riley. With a twisted grin, Riley levels his rifle at the others. "You fools actually thought I'd die for some spoiled rich girl? I'm getting out of here, alone." The squad erupts in fury. Monster roars, charging like a beast, but Riley fires again, forcing him back. Carmen's blade gleams in the firelight as she hisses, "Traitors don't walk away." The betrayal rips through them harder than any bullet. In war, death is expected, but treachery cuts deeper. As the camp burns, the squad realizes something grim. The jungle isn't their deadliest enemy. It's the darkness festering in their own ranks. The flames of the camp light the night like a funeral pyre. From the shadows of a fortified bunker, he appears. The warlord, Moke, draped in stolen medals, his eyes burning with cruel delight. He claps, slowly, mockingly. Criminals turned soldiers. Pathetic. You fight for freedom? You're nothing but dogs on a leash. The squad steels themselves. They've faced bullets, betrayal, and the jungle itself, but this man is the embodiment of everything they hate. Power without mercy. Gunfire erupts as Moke's elite guards swarm the courtyard. The battle is savage. Carmen darts through the chaos like a viper, her blade flashing. Monster wrestles 2 men at once, his rage unchained. Vasquez unloads his rifle in a storm of vengeance. And then, the warlord himself enters the fight, blade in hand, striking with ruthless precision. Sparks fly as steel clashes, every blow echoing like thunder. The final assault has begun, and only one side will leave the jungle alive. Through the chaos of fire and steel, Carmen spots a cage at the center of the compound. Inside, bruised and terrified, Gabrielle Prescott clings to the bars, her voice hoarse from screaming. BR rushes forward, bullets snapping around him, and throws himself against the lock. "We found her! Cover me!" he shouts. Vasquez unleashes a hail of gunfire, cutting down enemies as Monster charges through like a battering ram. Carmen kneels, picking the lock with steady hands while Gabrielle's trembling eyes search theirs. "Please, don't let me die here." The lock breaks. The door swings open. Gabrielle collapses into Carmen's arms, tears mixing with dirt and blood. For the first time, the squad sees her not as an heiress, not as a bargaining chip, but as a human being. The mission's purpose is no longer freedom, no longer redemption, it's survival. And now, with Gabriel in their hands, the squad realizes the hardest part is still ahead. The cage door crashes open, but freedom comes at a price. As Gabriel is pulled to safety, enemy reinforcements flood the camp, rifles blazing. The squad fights with every last breath, but they're outnumbered, cornered. A grenade lands at their feet. For a split second, time freezes. Monster steps forward. His eyes meet BR's, calm for the first time. "Go, protect her. My fight ends here." Before anyone can stop him, he hurls himself onto the grenade. Boom! The explosion rips through the night, fire and shrapnel tearing the ground apart. The shockwave sends Gabriel and the others sprawling, deafened by the blast. When the smoke clears, Monster is gone, nothing left but silence and scorched earth. BR trembles, tears burning his eyes. Vasquez clenches his fists, snarling in rage. Carmen grips Gabriel tighter, her face stone. The squad understands. Monster didn't die a beast. He died a protector, and his sacrifice will carry them through the fire that still awaits. The ground still smolders from Monster's sacrifice. Silence lingers for a heartbeat, then fury ignites. Vasquez roars like a man possessed, charging into the enemy line with bullets tearing from his rifle in endless streams. "This is for Monster," he bellows, every shot dripping with rage. Carmen moves like fire, blades flashing, cutting down soldiers one by one with surgical precision. BR, once trembling with fear, now fights with a desperate strength, his eyes burning with vengeance. Even Gabriel, clutching a fallen pistol, fires into the dark, refusing to be helpless any longer. The guerrillas, once confident, now stumble under the weight of the squad's wrath. Bodies fall, torches topple, the camp collapses into chaos. The condemned fight not as criminals, but as warriors bound by blood and sacrifice. For the first time, their battle isn't just for freedom, it's for vengeance. And vengeance is served in blood. The night sky rumbles as enemy helicopters rise from hidden pads, their rotors chopping the air like blades of doom. Spotlights sweep the burning camp, locking onto the squad as alarms wail. Vasquez curses, firing upward. "They'll cut us to pieces from the sky." Carmen drags Gabriel toward cover. "We need an exit, now!" BR spots a fuel truck near the edge of the compound, its tank gleaming in the firelight. Without hesitation, he grabs a rifle and shoots. Boom! The explosion rocks the earth, fire spiraling into the air. One helicopter is engulfed in flames, crashing into the jungle with a thunderous roar. But the others keep coming. Bullets rain down, tearing the ground. The squad scrambles through smoke and rubble, dragging Gabriel between them. Every step feels like death snapping at their heels. Finally, a battered jeep bursts from the shadows, its keys still in the ignition. Vasquez jumps behind the wheel. "Get in, or we all die here." The jeep roars to life, tearing through the gates as more explosions rip the night apart. Behind them, the camp burns like the mouth of hell itself. The escape has begun, but freedom is still far away. The jeep roars through the jungle, branches whipping against shattered windows, bullets slicing past from the darkness. The enemy isn't giving up. They want blood. Suddenly, a rocket slams into the ground beside them. The vehicle flips, metal twisting, glass exploding. The squad is thrown into the mud, coughing, bleeding, dazed. As they scramble to their feet, gunfire erupts from every direction. Riley, the traitor, stumbles back into view, clutching a pistol. His grin is wild. "This is where it ends for you." But before he can fire, Carmen drives her blade through his chest. He gasps, eyes wide, and collapses in the dirt. Betrayal dies with him. The squad drags Gabriel forward, but in the chaos, another shot rings out. Vasquez staggers, blood pouring from his side. He looks at BR, a twisted smile on his lips. "Guess freedom wasn't meant for all of us." He fires one last burst at the enemy before falling to his knees, the jungle swallowing his final breath. The survivors push on, hearts heavy, realizing a bitter truth. Not everyone will see the sunrise. Dawn breaks over the jungle, the first rays of light cutting through smoke and ashes. The survivors limp forward, Carmen, BR, and Gabrielle, their bodies bruised, their souls shattered. They have escaped the camp, but freedom feels heavier than the chains they once wore. Every step echoes with the ghosts of those who didn't make it. Monster's sacrifice, Vasquez's last stand, even the traitor's twisted end. Gabrielle looks at them with tear-filled eyes. They died for me. Strangers. Criminals. Why? Carmen's voice is low, cold but trembling. Because even broken people can choose to fight for something greater. BR stares at his bloodied hands, the rifle slipping from his grip. This isn't freedom. It's survival. And survival has a price. The jungle is silent now, but in their hearts the weight of freedom presses harder than any prison wall. The survivors reach the riverbank, where an old military raft waits, hidden under camouflage nets. The air is heavy with silence. No more gunfire, no more explosions. Just the distant echo of the jungle waking with the sunrise. Carmen helps Gabrielle onto the raft, her hands trembling not from fear, but from exhaustion. BR sits in the mud, staring at his reflection in the water. The boy who entered this mission is gone. In his place is a scarred soldier, haunted by every face that fell along the way. Gabrielle speaks softly, breaking the silence. They called you criminals, but today, you were more than that. Carmen looks away, her eyes cold but wet with unspoken grief. Redemption doesn't erase scars, it just teaches you how to live with them. The raft drifts into the current, carrying them away from the battlefield. But the jungle has marked them forever. Their bodies may escape, but their souls will never truly leave. The raft drifts out of the jungle's grasp, the survivors staring back at the smoke rising from the trees, a graveyard for the damned, and the battlefield that forged their rebirth. Carmen grips her knife, once a weapon of vengeance, now a reminder of everyone who fell. BR sits in silence, tears hidden beneath dirt and blood, his young face hardened by scars of war. Gabrielle clasps their hands, whispering, "You didn't just save me, you saved yourselves." The helicopter arrives, blades roaring, to take them home. But as they climb aboard, there's no cheer, no celebration, only the heavy silence of those who know the truth. Freedom was won, but paid with blood. Monster, Vasquez, Riley, all gone. Their names won't appear in history books, their deeds won't be honored with medals. But in that jungle they chose to fight, not as criminals, not as prisoners, but as warriors who dared to defy their fate. As the helicopter disappears into the sky, BR whispers the words that echo through the ages. Freedom or death, we paid the price. And with that, the story closes, not with victory, but with survival, scars, and the weight of redemption. Before you leave this battlefield, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe, because more stories of action, vengeance, and survival are waiting for you right here.